My disrespectful husband let a girl sit on his lap and now he's threatening to leave me, so I did the honor and packed his things. My husband and I have been married for 3 years, and from the beginning, he was very close with his best friend's sister, Lola, who is 18. My husband would often talk about her and tell me how he had seen her grow up throughout the years. Lola is always very bubbly and seems very fond of Ethan as well. I remember when we were dating, she would ask to come along on our dates a lot. When we announced our engagement, she asked my husband to not forget her after being a married man and to still hang out with her. Soon, we moved to a different state and kind of lost contact. Now, Ethan's best friend came to stay with us for some time, and Lola came along as well. The moment she saw us, the first thing she said was how hot my husband had gotten, and she was glad he didn't look like those boring married men. Then throughout their stay, Lola would just ignore my presence and be way too close to Ethan. I told Ethan that it was looking a bit inappropriate and to ask Lola to tone it down, but he said that Lola is just a bit childish and is that way with everybody. On their last day, we decided to host a dinner party for everybody. During the party, I was with Ethan when Lola came and told me, "Oh, I need to steal your husband for a while," and before I could say something, she grabbed Ethan's hand and took him to play games. I ignored it since it was their last day, but then throughout the dinner, she was getting way too close to Ethan and would just drag him away whenever I was around while giggling at me. When everybody sat down for dinner, I sat beside Ethan and Lola came last. She then said, "Oh, there is no seat," and then just went and sat on my husband's lap. Everybody was surprised, and Ethan said, laughing, "Lola, stop acting like a kid. You are not a kid anymore." Lola started laughing, saying it was a joke, and got up and sat on another seat while giggling at me. I was so angry with the disrespect and with the fact that Ethan was so cool with it, but I didn't want to say anything bad, so I excused myself, took my car, and went out. About an hour later, Ethan called me asking where I was. I told him I was going to my friend's house and I would come back after Lola had left. I know what I did was terrible, but I was so angry at that time that if I had stayed there any longer, I would have probably started fighting or crying. I came back the next day and Lola and her family had left. Ethan was very angry and said I took things too far. I started crying and told him how everything made me feel. He said I was horrible to think such things about Lola and that she was like his sister. I told him that I was not doubting his intentions, but I was hurt by how disrespectful Lola's behavior was, and he was enabling her by not saying anything. He got defensive, saying that I sounded ridiculous and couldn't even take a joke. I said regardless, I don't want her in my house again. To top it off, Lola sent a message saying that she was sorry about making me so insecure in myself and that she would make sure to make me feel better, but I should not have left as it was pretty childish and kind of spoiled the mood. It felt so backhanded and I replied, "Don't flatter yourself. I will never be insecure about someone like you who is nothing but a birth certificate. I wouldn't have left if you knew what respect means, but given this text, I think you should be put in kindergarten again." Then I blocked her. The next day, my husband and I were still not talking. I told him that he needed to maintain a distance from Lola. He asked if I was giving him an ultimatum. I asked, "Will you go as far as disregarding and disrespecting my feelings for Lola?" This rubbed my husband the wrong way, and he said since I had such disgusting thoughts in my mind and was giving him an ultimatum anyway, he might as well leave because he could not live with such an insecure person who had such disgusting thoughts about him. He packed a bag and left for his mother's place. Later, Lola's brother texted me and called me a bunch of names for thinking like that about his sister, saying Ethan should just leave me and that a disgusting person like me deserves to be alone. Update, I learned that during the dinner, there was Lola, her brother Sean, and his girlfriend, and their cousin Derek with his boyfriend. So, I called Derek and asked about the situation and what happened after I left. He was sympathetic and said that after I left, at first they thought I would come back after some time. However, things were awkward, but when I didn't come, Sean's girlfriend told Lola that she was so disrespectful for doing that. Derek and his boyfriend also said the same thing. Lola started crying, saying they didn't have to corner her and attack her over a silly joke that she didn't know would get so out of hand. She then left the room while crying. Sean's girlfriend also texted me saying she was sorry for what happened. I told her Sean's message was inappropriate, but she had no idea about the text, so I sent her a screenshot and asked her to tell Sean not to harass me again. She was very apologetic and said she would talk to him. Now, my mother-in-law called and asked what was happening, as Ethan didn't tell her and only said we argued. I eventually told her everything, and she was furious at my husband. Now that I had a week to clear my mind without my husband, I realized how little respect he has for me and that he could not see why I was so mad. I realized that I could not be with a man like that. I packed all of the stuff that he left behind and put them outside the house. I also changed the locks. Last night, I woke up with him banging on the door and calling my name. I quickly got up and looked through the peephole. I asked him why he was there. He asked, "What do you mean? I live here. Why is my stuff outside?" I quoted his last statement to me. He didn't want to be with an insecure woman like me and he should go now because he is not welcome here anymore. He went from angry to pleading, saying that he does understand now and wanted us to talk, but I did not. I went upstairs and went back to sleep. Thankfully, my neighbors did not complain about the noise.